GIF. We're still on session 2 of International Rail Transport module. There are 2 objectives in this video to achieve. First, it is meant to help you identify the international organizations that regulate rail transport and the purposes they were established to serve. The second objective is to also identify other organizations of international rail transport. So please, there are 2 different things. There are organizations that regulate rail transport internationally, and they have certain purposes to serve. And there are also other international organizations who do not regulate, but they are international organizations of rail transport that are worth knowing. So the topics or the subtopics are pretty straightforward. Number 1 subtopic will be the international organizations that regulate rail transport and their purposes, and the subtopic 2 will be about international organizations of rail transport. They do not regulate rail transport, but they are international transport organizations that are worth knowing about because of their status in the industry. The first organization that I will mention is UNIS. UNIS has played a huge role in international rail transport, especially in Europe and Asia. UNIS, as we saw in the abbreviation, stands for United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. In fact, the main objectives for which they were set up are as follows: the development of Euro-Asia transport link, transport that, or rail transport that will link Europe and Asia. 2, organization of pilot runs of container block trains in Euro-Asia corridors. It costs money and a lot of it to pilot, the running of trains, especially block trains in Europe and Asia. And UNIS is the organization that was set up to, organize such pilot runs so that the other organizations and business concern would have the opportunity to run their businesses thereafter. UNIS also was set up to facilitate border crossing in the international rail transport. You realize that as part of the disadvantage of rail transport was the severe delays that was identified. And in order to take care of such severe delays, UNIS was given, a mandate to reduce or facilitate such border crossings to make it easier for operators to do their businesses. UNIS was also established to increase productivity in rail transport. Another objective of UNIS is the determination of rail infrastructure capacity. This would have been very difficult for individual organizations and private concerns to take up, but United Nations know, commerce dependent on transport. The wheel of, commerce is transportation. So if they facilitate, such transportation like rail transport, it will help in the end to make a better society. And I've already mentioned that the rail infrastructure is man-made and it's very expensive project to undertake. So UNIS taking up, the mandate or the objective to determine the infrastructure required would mean no particular country organization would have the chance to cut corners to reduce costs to affect the effectiveness of the rail. It was also set up to take care of the interoperability and harmonization of conditions between different rail systems. In the years gone by, there was one organization called OTIF, which included countries from North Africa, Middle East, and Western Europe. And there was another organization made up of countries from Far East and Asia, including Russia and China. It is only in recent years that the West sees eye to eye with the East, and they work hand in hand. Before, whatever they did, they were apart. So that brought about the OTIF. These are countries from North Africa who had very good rail infrastructure, Middle East countries, and then Western Europe. And then, so UNIS was tasked to bring harmonization and ensure that, trains from the West can operate, on networks in the East, and as well, trains from the East, Far East can operate on the network in Western Europe. It was also set up for Trans-European Rail Project to ensure that there is a network that serves the entire Europe. UNIS were kind enough to support and ensure the development of Western Europe. That has been the backbone of, some of the development that has come even to the third world. One other objective is AGC. One objective of UNIS is to take care of European agreement on the main international rail lines. So you see that UNIS, you may not have thought before this lesson that a United Nations body or a part of the United Nations has set up named UNIS to take care of so much about international rail transport. Is to ensure low cost efficiency so that societies, countries would trade quite efficiently, and the world would encounter or know more development, because trade is what generates the financing for the economies, and development only comes when economies are growing. The second organization that regulates international rail transport, I have already mentioned, is OTIF. OTIF is an intergovernmental organization for international carriage by rail. And OTIF started with 42 states, and these are countries from EU and includes Ukraine, Turkey, Tunisia, which is in North Africa, Syria in Middle East, Macedonia, which wasn't then a European country, Morocco in North Africa, Iran and Iraq in Middle East, Algeria in Africa, Albania, and Yugoslavia. So OTIF is made up of countries from North Africa, Middle East, Western and Central Europe by now.